In 1896, a European army marched into Africa certain of one thing: they would win. They had modern rifles, artillery, and the backing of an empire hungry for colonies. What they did not expect was defeat. Total, humiliating defeat. This is the story of the only African nation that was never colonized, and the battle that made it that way. 14 years earlier, European powers sat around a table in Berlin and divided an entire continent among themselves. Africans were not invited to that meeting. Borders were drawn with rulers, not knowledge. Nations were created and erased overnight. By the 1890s, almost every inch of Africa belonged to someone in Europe. Ethiopia was the exception. An ancient Christian kingdom with its own alphabet, its own calendar, and a monarchy tracing its roots back thousands of years. Italy wanted it anyway. Rome had already seized territory along the Red Sea coast, and its generals believed Ethiopia would be the easiest prize on the continent. In 1889, Italy and Ethiopia signed a treaty of friendship, but there was a problem. The Italian version of the text quietly claimed Ethiopia as an Italian protectorate. The Amharic version said no such thing. When Emperor Menelik II discovered the deception, he tore up the agreement and declared it void. Menelik sent word across every province of the empire. Highland farmers, warrior clans, priests, and nobles answered the call. An estimated 100,000 fighters gathered, one of the largest armies ever assembled in African history up to that point. His wife, Empress Tetu Betel, was not a bystander. She organized supply lines, directed troops, and fought alongside her husband as a military strategist in her own right. General Oresta Baratieri commanded the Italian forces. He believed Ethiopian resistance would collapse quickly, and pressure from Rome pushed him to attack before he was ready. His maps of the terrain were poor. His scouts underestimated the size of the force waiting for him. On the 1st of March, 1896, near the town of Adwa, his columns advanced into rugged mountain terrain they barely understood. Ethiopian forces, who knew every ridge and valley of their homeland, struck with overwhelming numbers. The Italian columns became separated in the mountains. What was supposed to be a controlled advance collapsed into chaos within hours. By the end of the day, the Italian army had suffered catastrophic losses. Thousands of soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured. General Baratieri's forces retreated in disarray. It was the worst defeat suffered by a European colonial power in Africa during the entire scramble for the continent. Italy had no choice but to negotiate. In the Treaty of Addis Ababa later that year, Italy formally recognized Ethiopia's complete independence. News of the victory spread across the world. For colonized peoples across Africa and the diaspora, Adwa became a symbol that European conquest was not invincible. More than a century later, Ethiopia remains the only African nation that was never colonized. Adwa is still celebrated as a national holiday for a continent that endured decades of division and domination. One battle in the Ethiopian highlands proved that the outcome was never inevitable. Unconquered,